Welcome everyone to another DeFi Raiders AMA. I'm Hot Sauce, and today I'm joined by Snoop D-O-double-G from Arbipay, and we're going to learn about Arbipay and how they are bringing some innovation to the lottery space slash casino space on Arbitrum. Welcome, Snoop.
Hey man, thank you for having us. We appreciate the time. And for those not familiar with Arbipay, I appreciate the kind intro there. We, I know Hot Sauce mentioned for us that we're bringing some innovation to the lottery. We're actually bringing innovation on two sides in my mind. So a lot of people in DeFi have been familiar with printer type of tokens, where as you buy and hold these tokens, they reflect a reward back to you. It's almost a yield bearing asset. So for us, we have a tax on our token, 10%, and that's actually split up into multiple ways. Portion of that, 4%, automatically goes to reflecting ARB to all of our holders. We're pretty bullish on ARB. Like, we've seen the run that even things like the Uniswap token went on, and
Mm-hmm.
a blue chip of one of, in my opinion, the best layer twos is something that everybody wants to be accumulating. So that's
Uh,
kind of how we ended up with ARB as our reflections. And then we were trying to think about sustainability, when you look at a lot of like past types of reflection tokens, it's obviously every token is driven by volume, but they tend to have a little bit of a shorter like shelf life to them.
yeah, absolutely.
So with that in mind, we were looking at how could we expand upon this or really like make it better. So we looked at like the success of other tokens like Lotto and like Fortune Cookie here in Arbitrum themselves, and everybody loves a little bit of degen gambling. You buy it, you have a chance to win the jackpot, and then there it is. So there's not a whole lot else for holders there. I know they have their nitro pools, but in order to get to them, you have to pay basically 40% in taxes. And we're like, we just want our people to pay this once, hold on to their tokens, and get the sweet, sweet ARB. So for us, every buy over zero point 0.1 ETH gives you a 1% chance to win that full jackpot, or
Mm-hmm.
you just have a token that actually still earns you something. So
Yeah.
try to find a synergy between those two different concepts. Think about it as the love child between like a hammy and a lotto, and take it from there.
Yeah, man. And I mean, just looking in our audience, I can picture a lot of us sitting in voice chat together in various discords and buying these kind of reflector tokens, but they didn't have that lottery side to it, right? And then they would kind of dry up, people lose interest, and boom, another printer comes, right? So the fact that you're adding on a layer, I think, is bullish overall. But before we go too far into the protocol and the tokenomics and all that, I was just gonna, I've known you now, what, 2 years? It feels
A little
like.
bit longer, probably even. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it's so crazy. We've been on this DeFi journey together, and as far as I know, this is the first project you're launching. So I'm curious, like, what made you decide?
First one
Yeah,
that I would say I'm taking such a spearheading role on the front end of it. I was part of
yeah,
the era team, if you remember back in the day, so I helped with like
yeah.
design of tokenomics there and just like general launch. But I just parted ways with that team pretty early on in the process. Still bullish on them, and I'm glad to see those guys are finding success. But I would say with this was going to be like kind of like a community run effort, and I know Como wanted to launch something on like the printer side with like a reflections s token. So then I was just looking at, I didn't really want to be involved in something that was just like a straight up Ponzi in all regards.
Hmm.
So we had discussions on it, and that's how we came to like the lottery esque aspect of it, and then expanding on the there to like build a full on ecosystem around APay as well, which we can get into in a second here.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you started kind of going into it, but the team is what? It's you, Coma, and then
It's myself, Coma, and Mr. Robot, and then we have a couple assistant devs as well who are like friends of Coma's who he's worked with in the past.
all right. Yeah. So, okay, you have a team of three. You guys have done various projects, but this is like the first time you're really dipping your toes into like taking point, basically, right, on a project.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm handling a lot of like the social campaigns, a lot of like our KOL conversations, and kind of just being the face of it at the moment. Coma and Mr. Robot are the other two that I mentioned. They're also
Hmm.
like forward facing and they handle a lot for us as well. But a lot of like the day to day in the Discord and Telegram. Telegram is a little bit more Mr. Robot's bread and butter, but we're all
Yeah.
trying to do a little bit on that end as well.
Well, okay. So, I mean, this is like one of those, put me in coach type situations. Like you've been on the sidelines, you've helped a little bit in the background, but this is like something that was exciting enough for you to really like put yourself in, right?
Yeah,
So, kind of
absolutely. I
maybe you could
mean,
tell us a little bit about like what are some of the plans you had that made you say like, okay, it's worth me, finally trying to do something and to do it right. Like, what does that mean to you, and like, why are you excited about
I'm
Arbipay?
excited about it because we have a pretty solid team. Collectively, we work really well together, and then on top of that, it was just like a unique tokenomics and just like platform idea. I got really excited because you've seen things like Hand Me, which is nothing but a reflections token, go to like 30 million market cap. We've seen Lotto get to like 3 or 4, and these are both, in essence, just like volume driven tokens. But there's
Yeah.
never really been and I've been in DeFi for 3, 4 years now, and there's never really been a marriage of these two kind of concepts. So to be the first and kind of take our shot at it, that was really exciting.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited to see what you guys have planned. I mean, do you want to start off by maybe just telling us something about the tokenomics, just in case people
Yeah, so
who are
like I
listening
mentioned,
in
it
don't
was
know?
like a 10-10 tax on it for buy and sell,
Hmm.
and 4% goes to those reflections, 2% goes to the jackpot, and 2% goes to the treasury. We use that for like marketing, additional rewards, things of that nature. And then the
Hmm.
last 2% goes straight into the liquidity. Trying to keep it a pretty thicker liquidity. It doesn't pump as quickly, but it's just so much more sustainable. This thing won't just dry up super quickly. And we're trying
Right.
to, all of our
And
tokenomics
that's locked,
basically,
right?
that is
I feel
locked.
like
Yep. We have a
yeah.
LP locker on there for 3 months now, and we plan to extend it.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah. So, okay, you have the 10-10 tax. You have it kind of divvied up to things that benefit the protocol. And then maybe tell us a little bit about like the total supply. I saw that you have some protections for against whales,
Yeah,
at
so
least in
it
theory.
it's a 1 billion supply, so nothing really stops a whale from accumulating on multiple wallets. But that's not really a major concern for us if someone's that interested in us. We love the support, but we didn't really want any one whale to really dominate our protocol so much. So we have a max wallet size of 2%. There's a billion tokens, so you'll see it as kind of a micro cap for now. We've been hovering for about 200K market cap, and honestly, we're just getting started. Like, on top of the general mechanics I already described, the combination between like the lotto and the reflections, we're actually building an in-house arcade-esque system for it.
Oh,
So
cool.
our plan is to have the games playable and payable with APay. So just another utility. It will use that to add to the treasury rewards for winnings in those jackpot games. At the same time, burning some of those tokens to, in essence, make the supply more deflationary.
Yeah, that's something I've always been curious about with these kind of like lottery type games. Like the tax makes a lot of sense when you're just buying, holding, trying to win that jackpot. But if you start making games, have you guys considered doing something like maybe doing a wrapped version that's like not taxed, but it can only be used in the casino? Something
Yeah,
like
we
that.
have put thoughts to that. So part of what the main goal of this token is to drive reflections to holders, right? It's the ARB that they're looking for.
Hmm.
So we're actually thinking about like no tax when actually spending the APay tokens people have. So either doing it via wrapper or just like the existing tokens they have in their wallet to try and win more. There's no transfer tax on our token. So
Hmm.
when they're actually spending it on all these different lotto type games in the arcade, they're not going to be taxed on
Paying the
that at all.
10%. Yeah, yeah, that makes
Exactly.
sense. Yeah, because you don't want to like if you want to gamble $1, you don't want to lose 10 cents, right?
Right, exactly. So we put thought into that as well. And just like some examples of some of the games are like Coin Flip. We've been working on Crash Game. We actually have a lot of these different games developed. But a big thing for us is, and people probably noticed this when we were initially deploying our launch, we made like 4 or 5 different test tokens, testing pretty much every step of the way. We don't really want to deploy anything that's not going to work or like really has any bugs or security issues for people.
Yeah,
So we just battle test our code like multiple days at a time before we're even comfortable with it. If it
that
doesn't work
makes
3 times, it's not going to be deployed, especially when we're like
yeah.
purposely trying to break it.
So one thing I know, people will ask, there's LP locked, but do you guys have any audits planned, or is that something that you think
Down
is
the
in
road,
the
yes. We would if we do an audit, we want to do one of the like really legit ones, and those ones are in like the 25,000 range. So just we're
yeah.
in the life of the protocol right now. especially with like some of the updates we have coming, we'd prefer an audit to be of more like a final code base rather than like while we're still making improvements. For example, with like those other jackpot S tokens, including ourselves right now, true on chain random, especially on Arbitrum, is really hard to pull off because when you're building like a randomization on chain, it can be gamed pretty easily because people will be able to see if their transaction won or not and kind of front run it and cancel their transaction and just run it again until they win the jackpot. So that's why you're seeing
Hmm.
with all these different protocols, including ours as well right now, having that randomness off chain. We're actually developing like fully on chain random. So it can be verifiable on chain so people don't even have to have any concern that the jackpot is one way or another.
And that's using the Chainlink VRF function.
We were
And
actually looking into Chainlink, but we're thinking about making a pivot there because they don't really support Arbitrum the best. But there's another fully on-chain random VRF with this AI type of software that Arbitrum actually endorses. So we're looking at using that instead. We've already started coding for it.
oh, that's awesome. So then people will be able to actually know that it's actually random. It's not you just
Yeah, it's
paying your
actually like
friends.
random on chain, and also um, it won't really be able to be gamed. So those were the big two things. Like, it's a lot of code to actually implement that properly, but that's what we're working on right now is making sure that's effective, just to like give people another added layer of peace of mind beyond like liquidity lockers and just like team trust, because people like to see things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw like there was a thread going around a while ago. I think we shared it, and it was on Twitter about, another project. I don't want to name them specifically, but people kind of misunderstanding how the odds work and, if it was really random and getting really angry, so like
Yeah,
like how does it I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to gamble, you're gambling, right? So you have to do it responsibly. I think I should just emphasize that to anyone listening. There's no guarantee you're going to win, even if you keep spinning that wheel, right?
yep,
uh
absolutely. And the
but
gamble
yeah.
side of it, just like the game side of it, is honestly just one aspect of the coin. Like I personally view a lot of our holders as people just looking for yield because we've seen it just like in the wallets that people are holding on to a lot of their APay, just like trying to milk those ARB rewards because it's such a blue chip.
Yeah, and then I mean, it just how does the oh, did I lose you for a second? It kind of
Nope,
beeped
I
on
added
me.
comb up here as well.
Okay, cool. Hey, Coma. One of the things I noticed is I did get a little Arbipay the other day, and like I've just been getting random, like, one Arbitrum here, one Arbitrum there. How do those reflections work? Is it a certain threshold that'll airdrop it to
Yeah, it's
you or batch
basically
it out, or
there's like two ways you can really get your ARB. You can actually claim it live on our DApp if you'd like to, if you like need it a little bit quicker. Otherwise, it's a threshold above a certain amount, and then it'll just pay the gas and drop it straight to your wallet. So it's
yeah,
really set it and forget it for people who don't want to like take too many actions on their own.
and that's nice. I mean, you're getting Arbitrum. It's a good coin to hold, I think, in the longer run.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, with those other like purely jackpot S tokens you mentioned, it really comes down to trust for a lot of those aspects. I mean, I don't know. I think that's probably a good team over there. They launched a cool product and like that helped inspire our ideas as well. So no knocking anything going on over there.
Yeah, so okay, one of the big things I see that really defines the success of some of these like lower market cap projects on Arbitrum or really any chain is the marketing and like how you get people just to know it exists. So I know that a portion of the tax goes to marketing, but do you guys have a plan for how you're gonna spread the gospel of Arbipay?
Yeah, so besides doing things like AMAs, like this is actually our second one. Our first one was with Kook Capital. He's actually one of our KOLs who got involved with us pretty early. We plan to do additional like KOL marketing rounds. We actually have a plan for a biggest buy contest and like buy over a threshold, everyone qualifies to win rewards as well. We've done lots of different airdrop campaigns, just different kind of marketing efforts like that, where they're not stopping, we're not stopping working. So we'll just see that be deployed over time.
And just to avoid someone tagging or pinging us, can you tell people what the KOL is?
Oh, that's a key opinion leader. So a lot of people in the
Yeah,
space don't like to be called influencer. It's a
right.
clean way of saying people who like have a big following.
Yeah. So, and those people really do. I mean, like Hammy's a good example. Like that, or like, I mean, there's so many projects, but definitely it feels like in the crypto space without, trustworthy people saying they're interested in a project, it doesn't seem to always even get discovered, even if it's a good project. So
Yeah,
it is
man,
super
and
important.
that's definitely one of the barriers to entries for even like the best projects out here. And we're trying to walk that line between giving away too much free APay versus just like building organically. Like we've taken mostly the organic route. Like I mentioned, we have like several KOLs who've like vouched for us already. The reason we're going more of the organic route early on is because we don't want to get our holders dumped on. So we do have more planned KOL marketing going. We'll probably start paying rather than an APay tokens, some other tokens, just so they can't really dump on our holders. And
Makes sense.
yeah, keep going from there.
That makes a lot of sense. So I saw Coma join. Does Coma want to get up here and say anything since they're in here?
Oh yeah, he should be a speaker now.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Coma.
No, I was just listening to you guys talking. It was always as delightful as ever to listen to Snoop spilling some alpha.
Yeah, is there anything you want to share with us today, or just here for
Absolutely.
yeah,
So we are working on the on-chain randomness. We made great progress yesterday. Just realized that several features of Chainlink are on Arbitrum, but not the VRF that we would need. So we came up with a new on-chain randomness solution, or actually we found a new on-chain randomness solution, and we are implementing that already. The ETA is probably this week. No promises. We are going to test it very, very thoroughly. And that is the first alpha I'm going to give you. And the second alpha I'm going to give you is that you should look at my profile picture and find out what may be the next step after the on-chain randomness.
that's so cryptic but also exciting. All right,
So
so
we did spill a little bit about that last time, so I'm actually comfortable sharing a little more about it. But that's
all right,
actually we're doing some NFTs as well that'll affect the chances of you winning the jackpot. Super limited run for people who get them, but if you hold one and participate in those zero point 0.1 to 1 ETH buys, it'll substantially increase your chances of winning the jackpot. It's just another cool way to kind of gamify it. And each of those
that's
printers,
cool.
like the one Coma has there, kind of nightmare looking printer one, they're all done by Mr. Robot. He's making one of ones of the entire collection. No generative.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
are
pretty cool.
and those are those going to be? I mean, if it's too early to go into the details, that's fine. But is it going to be you buy with APay or is it?
It is going to be mintable with APay. Yeah, we're thinking about it as like a token sink for us. So as many ways as we can like drive token volume and make it a little more deflationary is just going to be good for our holders. It'll increase the reflections they get for the same bag they have, and then it'll also just decrease the supply.
Yeah, so like even though it is giving people who hold it an advantage, they still have to be spending money buying APay to take advantage of that, right? So
Absolutely. Yep.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
So
another way to like
it's
coolly
yeah,
gamify it. We're trying to like make it as fun as possible for all the holders, everybody who's coming on this journey with us. It's just fun, man. Like we're here to have fun, and like hopefully our holders are here to have fun too. Like price is important, and we plan to not stop working on it. But like if you can have fun while the project grows, that'll be the best of both worlds.
absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense.
And as today someone pointed out, if you look at the holders and when they joined, you will see that right, no, that all people who have been involved to some degree with the project, either as a team or as an advisor, still hold the full bag. And that can also be said for most of the private sailors.
Yeah, no, I mean that's I,
Without even touching it, without even gaining back the capital or anything. They just hold because they know what we are cooking in the background.
yeah, I mean it doesn't seem like it's the kind of project that I know Snoop very well now. Like he wouldn't dump on people on his own project because he's been dumped on before. He knows what it feels like.
Yeah, man. I'm not selling any tokens. Honestly, I haven't yet, and have no plans to. There's no reason for us to do that. We know what we're building. Like we're bullish on ourselves. I like to say, so we're gonna keep that
That's
going.
pretty. And then I saw Coop, you hosted the AMA before, and you came. I got you up here. Do you want to join in and say anything? Do you have anything to add or questions?
No, I like the printer. It looks cool. I just thought I'd come in here and like hear what they were talking about because I'm interested. I like it. I have a bag. I haven't sold any. I was watching the chart. It looks cool. I check my reflections every day. Yeah, I'm a fan. That printer looks pretty sick, dude. Like, where can I see more of them?
We'll be teasing those
It,
out as they're ready for sure. Our first focus, and we got guys working on different things. That's the first little hint that Coma just spilled right there. We got a few more we'll start leaking out here and there. But like I mentioned, we're doing one of ones for every single one. So trying to actually
so
put in the work to make it dope.
it's not generative. It's like one of ones then.
No,
Exactly.
it's
Yep.
handmade.
So then how do you sell them? Like, are you gonna auction them or something, or is it like you get what you get, or like
It's
how
gonna.
many are there?
Um, we haven't decided on the final supply yet. It'll definitely be less than 200, thinking somewhere in the 1 to 200 range, depending on how I do the math for how that'll affect the gambling odds. But yeah, pretty much in that range. And as far as selling them, maybe we'll have some unique ones that we decide to auction off. But for the most part, since they're all going to be one of one and dope as hell, it's just like you get what you get.
That's cool. So it affects the odds for what? Like, I just joined kind of like a few minutes ago.
Sure.
So what
So
is
let's
it?
say it'll affect the odds on the jackpot. So let's say you hold one of these NFTs, then it'll boost your odds by say like 50% or something like that. If you spend the point 1 ETH, you'll have a 1.5% chance or something along those lines. And again, numbers aren't finalized, but I kind of got to do a little math on that back end. I don't want to make it too easy or too overcomplicated, but those are our general thoughts for now.
And those are
That's
not
pretty cool.
cumulative bonuses, right? Like, so let's say I
Those would
buy,
not be cumulative bonoses, no.
right.
The
That's why I'll
reason
make
for
sure
that
people
is
aren't
because that
like,
would just
I'm going to
break it.
buy 50.
Yeah, then you'd win every time, you know.
Well, I'm sorry if I foiled someone's plans who was listening.
I shouldn't have said anything. Just let him mint them all and then realize. No, we're not going to do that.
Well, then also, since this is taking Apay off the market, will that go into like a back to like a specified use for the team, or will
Um,
that go into the jackpot, or how will that?
a small portion will go back into the treasury so we can use it for those arcade games that I mentioned, and then
Mhm.
the other portion will just be burned. We're trying to get a lot of it out of the circulating supply, just get it a little more deflationary wherever we can. So a portion of
Oh,
the
so
games will get burned, and then a portion of the mint will get burned too.
okay, that's I mean that's good for total supply going down.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot going on. Okay, so to recap, we have a reflection token that also is a lottery token, a 10% tax on sales and buys, right? It goes both ways. You have a lot of stuff in the pipeline, like verifiable random functions to make sure that the game is square and not cheating people. You have locked
Yeah.
LP, total supply, one Billy tokens. You have a 2% total supply max wallet limitation. Was that 20?
2%.
Is that
Yep.
20 million?
20 million, that is.
Yeah, that's the most you could have in a single wallet. The team is building and holding. You guys are working on partnerships and trying to get the community engaged. So people are listening, they're interested. I, I know just looking at a lot of these PFPs, people have already probably played the game, but if they haven't or they want to learn more, where should they go to find out what's going on other than your Twitter?
Yeah, our Twitter pretty much links to our link tree where we have our Discord and our Telegram. You can come speak with us at any time. And then arbipay.app is our site where you could kind of just read a little bit about the background and like connect to our DApp to see the paid out ARB that's been paid over time, as well as your current APay balance and kind of what's pending for you if you want to claim a little bit early.
Yeah.
And we have a DApp update coming out within hopefully the next 24 hours, and that'll show past and active jackpots as well. So just pushing things out slowly but surely.
That's cool.
So basically, for this week, you can expect a depot update almost every day. Some days minor, some days major. We are going this week to more than double the utility of the DApp than what it used to be.
That's awesome. And then the games are coming. What's the timeline for the games and more casino type fun?
I don't want to promise an exact timeline for that,
Mm-hmm.
just because, like I said, we like to really battle test that stuff before we deploy it. But we can think about within the next couple of weeks here, like 2 to 3 weeks is hopefully we'll have at least one or two out, but we have a bunch of them in the pipeline. So there's not just going to be one game, there'll be a bunch.
All right. Are there any like partnerships that you guys have coming up or things you're looking for in potential partners? People are listening.
Yeah, so we have ideas there. I don't want to like overpromise too much as far as partnerships go because we're still in conversations there. But finding additional use cases for Apay where we can like create a wrapped layer behind it and maybe use it as like in different kind of flywheel projects. That'd be a long-term goal. But short-term, we want to get that truly on-chain random going, get all those DApp updates going, and make sure people have games to play while they just wait for additional updates.
It's awesome. So, I mean, I want to open the floor here and see if anyone has questions for us or things they want to learn more about. So, if anyone wants to get up on stage, now would be a good time. Raise your hand.
Yeah, please grill us or cheer for us. Do whatever. Come say what up.
You can come give positive affirmations. You can share your most wrecked gambling story. I could tell. I have a good story about gambling.
Let's hear it, man.
Okay, my 21st birthday, I went to a city called Las Vegas, and I only had $50 to gamble that whole weekend because I was a poor 21-year-old. And the first table I went to was a craps table, and this little old man came up with like his little old. I don't want to like he was Asian, and he was wearing like a shirt that was unbuttoned and had a lot of gold chains. He came right up to the craps table and he hit 7-Eleven like for 45 minutes straight and made me like $3,000. And all my friends who had come with me had never been to Vegas, and they thought I was like the greatest gambler of all time. What I did with that money was I took it, and I did not gamble the rest of the time I was there. But every other person I was with thought they could win because of that, and they all lost their entire lives. It was great, but we had fun. We had fun.
You got to follow the lucky hands, man. Good for that little Asian guy.
Yeah, man.
He's crushing it.
I wonder what he's doing right now.
Hopefully he's betting on 7-Eleven.
I mean, he should be because he's hitting it. I thought he had loaded dice, man. It was unbelievable.
Heck yeah, dude. But to Apay, like we shared a lot here, and I know it's not a marathon, it's a marathon, not a sprint for us, rather. But please, if you have any questions, ideas, thoughts, like come on up here and say what's up.
Come on, guys and gals, friends and pals. So many people I see.
And if you're just too bullish to speak, that's okay too.
Yeah, if you're too bullish to speak, you could just do a little reaction. Give us like a heart or a clap or something. Yeah, Coma's just too bullish. Can't even add. I like the NFTs, man. Like while we're vibing on the NFTs, I have like a little bit of a problem. Like my casino strength in lessons did not translate to my NFT proclivities, as you know. I may have too many JPEGs that are completely illiquid. But like what?
Yeah, I have thousands of illiquid JPEGs, man. But I got plenty of pretty pictures though.
But like, do you think this is kind of a trend going forward that like a lot of projects will have more utility, like that's actually tied to like a functioning product before they release the NFT?
Let me answer that because I have been involved in projects that had tens of thousands of NFTs in them on Polygon and Avalanche both.
Okay.
So what I see is that the most NFTs that are just put on chain or even not on chain but IPFS and somehow linked, they just didn't think through what they are doing. They just heard NFT, created it, and hope that people will buy. People who are dumb enough that they don't even research what's going on. So utility NFTs are definitely a huge part of our future. Everyday lives even in 10, 15 years. Not gonna lie. But if it's like a generative 10,000 pictures, 1,000 can be minted for free, that's not something what most projects should build on. This is why we are limiting our NFTs to, as Snoop said, less than 200. I would even say maybe less than 100 to really make this utility stand out and make them worth it financially for everyone who is holding them or plans to purchase them. That's the end goal. And these utilities are going to be hard-coded in the smart contract on-chain. So it's not like, if you own it, we will give you extra percentage. No, if you own it, the smart contract will give you extra percentages, which is verifiably on-chain, fully transparent, decentralized, no one can do anything about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
That's
people are
awesome.
going to start gaming it a little bit, like with their pricing of the NFTs, even because for any late joiners, it's going to give you a greater percent chance to win the jackpot. And when the ETH starts to build up in that jackpot contract, you might see people raise the prices on their NFTs, and someone's like, "Oh, I want to get that bonus chance," so just purchase the NFT, run up their buys until they like really win the jackpot, and then like try and relist. But it might have to be at a lower price than they bought it at. Who knows how people are going to game it? There's lots of different ways to game it.
That's yeah. The other thing I've thought about, and I asked this of the crypto royalty. I did an AMA with him about Lotto. Full disclosure, I'm interested in these tokens overall. But have you guys considered doing something like a larger, like more longer term jackpot that's like for like the people who trade over a certain period of time, they get entered, or like based on the volume they trade, they get entered based on with some percentage chance.
So we are already tracking all the swaps and all the money movement, as many of you know. And based on that data, we certainly can create one of these jackpots very easily. We can create jackpots for holders who are holding for more than 30 days. We can create jackpots for people who have bought and never sold, and so on and so forth. What the future brings, no one can predict, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and that's good. And so like one thing I do, I mean, since no one else asks questions, I have so many. Um, Imagine I am not that smart, and I understand that verifiable random functions are somehow beneficial to making sure I'm not getting cheated. Could you explain to me like how, as someone who doesn't know how to read code, I would be able to verify that it's actually doing what it says it's doing, or that I would be able to understand that I could trust it more when you say that?
Basically, we can do an explanation on what the code does. That's not what many projects do, especially because we don't want our competitors to make it easy to fork our code.
Okay.
That's one thing. Something else that many people will do is ask people who are able to read and understand code. Like, is this legit? And they will see it is because they will see the source code. It's verified on chain in the Explorer. It's not that many lines. It's not complicated. We are using clean variable names. It's very logical. We comment our code. It will be easy to understand.
That makes sense. No, it's good. And then that's why people use these third party like providers for the function, right? So that you don't have to trust you guys developing your own VRF function. It's like it's using a source that's trusted by other people as well.
Let me
Yeah,
tell you, if I could develop a VRF, that would be out of this world.
we're using one that's endorsed by the Arbitrum Foundation though, so it's got some pretty big backers.
No, that's good. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's see. Does anyone have other questions? Give people a second here. I mean, I see people here that gotta have questions or just some words of joy. It's so quiet. It's like cricket.
Yeah, this is in AMAs. A lot of times people don't. They just want to hear
I know they want
what the word
they want
is.
to hear
They
my
want to hear the good word.
You should have been there at our lunch. There were like 40 plus people, around 40 people in the voice chat, and everyone was quiet as hell. No one said a word, and more than half of them had their mic turned on. I could hear them breathe and wait for the deployment, and they didn't say a word.
Yeah, we did a bit of a stealth launch. We gave them a time window, and then we just like hopped on the Discord chat when we were actually deploying. So they were just trying to get that contract in and be the first one, you know.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Um, let's see. Is that a hand raise, Kook? Do you have something to add or?
Yeah, I was gonna ask a question. Were you gonna end it?
Yeah, we can end it.
No,
I
I
just
No, I
wanted.
don't.
no, I was gonna ask a question. Do you guys have any cool marketing stuff planned? Like any like Twitter stuff? I don't know, like to get eyes on it.
Actually, shortly after this, we're going to be having a bit of a buy contest with two possible ways to win.
Oh,
First is going to be biggest volume over a period, let's say 24 hours, and then we're going to have volume over a threshold as well, where a random person who participated will also win if they don't end up being the top buyer. So, like, we don't want to just have only the biggest wallet be the one who can always win. So, a little bit of a way for everybody to have a chance to win something. And on top of that, they still have a chance to win the jackpot every time they buy anyway. So lots of chances for like funness.
Exactly. And on top of that, no promises, but we may even give away an NFT as a winner later on. Because we
Ooh.
obviously can't track back the time window. That's one thing. And notice how Snoop said that we are looking at volume and not individual buys. So if you buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell the full bags, that increases your volume.
Okay.
And the reflections of all our holders.
Yeah, I would say I don't want to buy shit. I would probably enter the lottery if I had the NFT. I just like to get the reflections, but I like the stuff that drives buys. But I wanted to ask a question about the like, okay, you were explaining the NFT and you said that it actually like affects the lottery payout, but like on a smart contract basis. Like, how does it work? Like
That's correct.
just in the wallet, like you just have to have it sitting there.
So it works whenever you buy, there is a randomness calculation happening on chain, right? And for that calculation, we can have not just one, but multiple variable as inputs. And we will check whether you own any of the NFTs that are associated with the specific NFT smart contract. And if you do, then you get a certain multiplier. As easy as that.
That's really cool. And yeah, I think you said something like no one can mess with it. Like it's totally trustless, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It'll just do a wallet check. Pretty simple to like verify holding. And then from there, it'll just do the to see if you actually win it.
Yeah, one thing I've always wondered about this, but I'm gonna let Ish. Ish came up here, so Ish, you got a question or comment or anything for us?
Hey, Ish,
No.
you're muted, buddy. Oh, maybe that was an accident. Who knows?
Yeah, no. So, like, one thing I've always wondered about these tokens, and maybe this is just for another time we could park it. I'm just trying to go into the off on the deep end because I'm excited about what you guys are saying. Have you guys considered ways to like kind of visually present the game function of it? You know, like when you're buying it, so that's like you can actually see. I don't know, like how like when people get addicted to pulling slot machines, right?
Yeah.
Like you watch it spin and you see, did I win? Right? Like
Yeah,
with
so we'll have
this,
a
yeah.
buy bot coming up shortly here that actually shows if you won or lost. It'll just be like a Telegram
I,
channel.
I just have an even better idea that you gave me. What's your name, by the way, or
Hot
how do you
sauce.
go by?
Oh, I'm hot sauce, man.
Hot sauce. Oh, I know you.
Yes,
I just didn't recognize your voice.
it's all good, man.
So you just gave me a huge idea that is actually not that difficult and would make it much more interactive. So thank you for this question.
Hey,
And soon you may see something very cool on the depth.
yeah, man. I was telling Snoop before you came in, like I've always wondered, you know, like with these tokens, and I think Snoop addressed this a little bit with having a wrapped, not taxed version for your casino games, but why there isn't just a slot machine, you know, like I put in click, 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 and I'm clicking and I'm putting in A pay untaxed, and then I spin it, and then I can win, and it does all the lines. I mean, you know, I've seen a lot of old people sitting at a lot of slot machines. It's fun, man. It's a good way to pass the time. So anyway,
You don't even need a web version because transfers are not tagged, only the buys and sells.
that's good. So you transfer it to the game, and then it or whatever contract is running the game, and then it's not
Yeah,
taxed.
exactly. You trigger an event when the game is successful, and that will automatically trigger one of our smart. That event,
Yeah.
the emission will trigger one of our smart contracts that will either pay out a certain X if you win, or display that you lost. Sorry about that, and then try again.
That's cool, man. Well, I thank you guys so much for joining today and answering all those questions, spilling the alpha. And for everyone who came to listen, even if you were just kind of breathing into the mic or listening, I'm happy that you were here. I love you all. Thank you, Snoop. Thank you, Coma. Thank you, Kook, for coming up.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you
for
for the
having
time,
us.
guys. We appreciate it. And for everyone here, we're just getting started. We love you all as well. Thanks for supporting us, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, man. Join their
See you around.
Discord their Discord or their Telegram if you haven't already. Follow them on Twitter.
And also, we are
Um,
just at the
yeah,
we are at your fingertips. So if you want to not just chat but talk, just come to our Discord, say that hey, can we go on a voice chat, and then we hop in. So we are totally available to you. It's not like distanced like back in 2 years ago.
no, it sounds great, man. Yeah, and I'm Hot Sauce. This was just another DeFi Raiders AMA with Arbipay. We thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Maybe we'll get an update in a little bit here after you guys push out some of these games.